Once a man has seen a dragon in flight, let him stay home and tend his garden in content. For this wide world has no greater wonder. Yes, my dear mortals, as you may have guessed, it is finally time to take on Ice and Fire. This mod is most well known for adding some of the best and most detailed dragons to Minecraft. But the mod has come a long way since then and now includes another 3 mini-bosses. The Gorgon, the Cyclops, and last but not least, the Hydra. Alongside a whole host of other dangerous mobs that lurk deep beneath the earth and high up in the clouds. We're definitely going to be in for a challenging time. Ice and Fire is a mod that, despite playing many times, I feel like I've only ever scratched the surface. Hopefully this series will be a good opportunity for all of us to learn a thing or two. But before we can even dream of taking on a dragon, we have to start at the beginning of every story. Specifically a Minecraft story, because we're punching down trees. As with all my other series, I'm using a blind seed, so I have no idea what I've spawned into. This time it appears we have a snowy plains biome with some rocky shores. I love rocky shores. They're not a very attractive biome, but they are a good early game for coal and iron. Since this is Ice and Fire, it means we get silver as well. The tools are a bit better than iron, with the sword giving +2 damage to the undead, because if you know anything about ghouls, you know a lot of them don't like silver. The armour is slightly worse than iron, but it looks really cool, so maybe it's worth it. After gathering a nice bit of coal, that honestly won't actually go that far, we encounter our first creature, the hippocampus. For the longest time I was really cautious around these guys because I thought they were meant to be kelpies and would try to drown me. But no, they're hippocampi and are in fact passive. They're also tameable, which I would like to do later on. Then I killed what I thought might have been the only white sheep for a minute, until running into a graveyard. Graveyards are filled with ghosts, so I'm going to keep my distance for the minute because boy are they vicious. They will chase you for miles if you're not careful. Ask me how I know. But I'm still going to create more ghosts as I'm starting to get a little hungry. I did also find some more sheep, so we can have bedrolls for dinner. This very attractive building off in the distance is a mausoleum filled with treasure and the undead. So another thing to stay well clear of while I cook lunch. And then I got quite lucky, as I found not 1 but 2 waystones. Also killing these cows is something I am going to come to regret. Right near spawn was a village. While lacking in loot, I think this is a good spot to call home for now. I've decided to settle in the house with the waystone in front of it. Convenient and cozy. And then I chop trees. So many trees. Just chop, chop, chop. There will be no forest on my watch. I did replant all these trees. Before heading underground. For 30 seconds until I realised I had forgot torches. And then I could go underground for good. This was a very typical mining trip, plenty of iron, gold, etc. Took ages to find these diamonds, clearly luck was not on my side for these. I forgot to film the next bit as I was distracted, but I have iron armour that I can hide so you can still see my pretty skin. I also have a very modest farm. The problem with living in the snowy plains is that there's not a lot of food readily available, so once I got bored of watching iron smelt, I set off to this nether portal in the hopes that I could find some cows. I was a little worried that I didn't see any for my entire journey there, but after getting some gold, I found 3 of them hanging around. And these turtles that are honestly quite sensible for not wanting to get in the water. Once I got home, I reorganized and did some farming. The very boring stuff. While doing this, I was thinking. I want enchanted armor fairly quickly so I can take on the various dungeons and mobs. Because, you know, this series is about Ice and Fire and I'd like to do some Ice and Fire at some point. Since my mining trip wasn't the most fruitful, I decided I should exploit the locals. The toolsmith will trade you enchanted diamond swords, while the armorer will trade you enchanted diamond armor. In my opinion, this seems like the easiest way to get some decent armor along with having spares. The most early game friendly way to get emeralds is to trade sticks to a fletcher. So I trapped this guy in his house and gave him a fletching table. I gave another guy a tool bunch, well, at least I tried to. Then I gave another guy a blast furnace. It's back to the chopping factory for me, as I'll need wood to trade and wood to build my house. Also, you can really tell where I've been chopping. Some of this wood went towards my little animal pen. This poor fletcher is about to get some really noisy neighbours. Once I've located my cows, I begin the arduous process of moving them. I also managed to pick up 2 sheep along the way, which I'm not complaining about, I'm just a little confused on why they decided to come along. But this will be useful in the future as I'll need wool for my house. So the next thing on the agenda is to get my house sorted out. And that means mining cobblestone, so much cobblestone. So I'm stuck in the cobblestone mines for a while. And do you know what the best bit is after being stuck in the cobblestone mines? I have to smelt the cobblestone. As to not waste my fairly limited amount of coal, I used lava from this pond. To still be productive while I worked through this massive amount of stone, I started terraforming this hill. The ground around here is really broken, so I'm flattening out this bit of the hill. Terraforming is my least favourite part of any build. It's worth it in the end, but while you're doing it, it's so boring. Once I had a nice flat plane, I started making out where I wanted my castle to go. Because if you haven't guessed it by now, we're making the castle. There's dragons in this, of course I need a tower to keep them in. Now, the cobblestone isn't the hard part, the real hard part is going to be getting the dark oak. According to my nature's compass, the dark forest is 1800 blocks away. Now, given that there's a beach here, I believe that there's an ocean I will have to cross it in order to get to the dark forest. No big deal, right? Wrong! Thanks to these guys, the sea serpent. #1 cause of Willow's thalassophobia. They're big water snakes that will chase you down and try to kill you. They'll kill anything, including dragons, given half a chance. They'll chew you up, body slam you, and shoot water jets like some messed up Pokemon. Honestly, these guys tend to be a bigger threat than the dragons. So how are we going to do this? We're going to leave everything at home and boat for our lives. Don't look back, just row. Fortunately, I made it to the other side in one piece and placed down my waystone, lest I have to repeat that. Picking my stuff back up, I went and found the dark oak forest. I was right about it being just across the ocean. Clearly I've been playing this game for too long. Regardless, I got my wood and some more nether portal loot. Next to that were some pixies. Now why am I avoiding them the same way I avoid hostile mobs? Well, my dear mortal, they are in some ways worse than the hostile mob. The pixies are fun-loving creatures that will take an item out of your inventory and fly off with it. Only way to get them back is to damage them. This would be fine if they weren't incredibly annoying to hit. So I'm just staying well clear until I come back here with some jars. I know I'm not elaborating as I have castles to build. With the last of my materials, I can finally start construction. This is definitely one of my harder builds, not in how technical the build is, but in its concept. For as much as I like castles, I'm not particularly good at building them, especially not ones on a smaller scale like this. I worry that the build might look a little boxy, which is accurate to real castles, at least here in the UK, where most were built more to be practical than to look interesting. However, that's a little hard to use as a justification in Minecraft, given that I'm not fighting the Scottish. So I added a porch and a little stable in the hopes of breaking up the square. I think this worked, but I'm not sure if I'm fully happy with it. It's times like this that I need to remind myself that building is a skill that needs practicing. What castle would be complete without a tower? Or perhaps 2 towers. I added these walls in the hopes of making them look more interesting. That was kind of my whole goal with this, make it look interesting. I also messed up my towers and made them too close and too big. Shockingly, I'm not too mad about this. I actually think making the towers slightly bigger improves them. But I may have just been staring at them for too long and now I'm deluding myself. Once the outside was done, it's time to work on the inside. One half of this castle has all my useful stuff and storage. The other half will be lined with armour. I don't think I'm going to get every set as there's a lot, but I'd like to make a decent dent in it. The grandest of all the rooms is the throne room. I aim to fill this with various skulls and weapons dropped by the various mobs. Almost every mob in Ice and Fire has a unique weapon associated with it, so I'd like to put them in display as proof of my conquest. To do this, I'm using podiums added exactly for this reason. If you take a trip up the tower, you'll enter my chambers. A very basic bedroom with this funky loft design. Even higher up is the enchanting room, or what will be one when I have more diamonds. For now, it's just a cute library. So there you have it, the completed castle. Looks rather nice if I do say so myself. Now we get to do the fun part, moving our animals across into their new pen. It's barely an upgrade, but at least the Fletcher will be able to sleep in silence. Then there's the really fun part, moving all my stuff. Fortunately, I haven't accrued that much stuff just yet, so it didn't take too long. Still a little tedious nonetheless. Now that all my affairs are in order, I can finally make a backpack. This must be a record for me. I usually make these right away, instead I've left it pretty late. The perks of this, however, is that I can upgrade it straight to gold, so that when tomorrow comes, I'll be nicely prepared for our next adventure. I'm very sorry that this video is A, late, and B, a little less action-packed than previous videos. I've been a little busy IRL, so I haven't had much time for Minecraft. I promise that the next episode will be a little more exciting, as we'll be taking on the first 3 bosses. I'd like to do them first and then tackle the dragons, giving them the full video they need. So if that sounds like a good time to you, be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss out. If you're looking for something in the meantime, check out my Minecraft playlist to catch up on past series. And so, as the night draws in, I'd like to bid you all a good night.